Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for holding this hearing. And I, too, agree with both sides of the aisle. This ought to continue with other hearings. And it was shocking to just hear a statement about this is rehashing same old stories. These aren't old stories. These aren't same old stories. This is a situation that is atrocious in that it happened. And it's about time we heard the stories for the first time that we're hearing today, and I thank the witnesses for being here to do that for us. And appreciate your valor, and appreciate the families and their sacrifice. Mr. Thompson, on several occasions already, it's been insinuated that not only did you not ask to be interviewed by ARB, but that you refused. You've indicated on a couple occasions, no, you asked to be involved. Let me give you further opportunity and ask you, why were you concerned about the ARB's failure to interview you, and did you raise any concerns with the Department about the Review Board's unwillingness to interview you?
The reason I was concerned about it was that it was a terrorist event, and we did not respond to a terrorist event with the team, or we weren't considered to, and there wasn't a normal process by which that goes through. That process that I've already stated is not one that is bureaucratic. It's one that can go from a cold start to wheels up, so to speak, within hours.
On-the-ground experience, understanding of what you were tasked to do.
Yes. With respect to places like Nairobi, Kenya, on August 7th, 1998, in which we had 12 murdered Americans, 240 murdered Kenyans, and thousands injured. A very ambiguous situation, and a situation in which we responded to and collaborated with our DOD and our FBI colleagues. Even OFTA was there because we had to get Office of Foreign Disaster Assistance. We even had to get them in there to help with the medical resupply because the hospitals were overrun by this event. We had to set up a new embassy because we had one that was destroyed. We had to set up all the communications for the ambassadors, so it was a fairly comprehensive response. Such was not the case in Tripoli with Mr. Hicks. However, we did have a need to get people pushed forward early, and even if they did not end up in Tripoli, they would be closer. Again, going back to the tyranny of distance, whether we would have landed in Frankfurt or Sigonella or Crete or somewhere in the area, those are the things I would have brought out to the Board had I been interviewed.
Any of those findings included in the ARB report?
Not to my knowledge, but I also have not seen a classified version. They may be in there.
Mr. Hicks, in a little deference to my colleague from Ohio, I'd say on top of all of your distinguished records of achievement and accolades, your 2 earned degrees from University of Michigan are your best, and I appreciate that. Let me ask you this. Do you know if anyone interviewed by the ARB was provided an opportunity to read the full classified report?
I've talked to several witnesses who were interviewed by the ARB, and none of them have been allowed to read the classified report.
As far as you know, none that were interviewed have read the classified report? So
far as I know.
So you mentioned that there was a 2 a.m. phone call with the Secretary of State. During that short phone call, conversation that you rehearsed for us, was there any mention of a demonstration during that conversation?
No.
It would be interesting to know if that was included in the report, but you've not read it.
Correct.
In fact, it wasn't. Do you think the ARB report lets any individual or bureaucracy off the hook?
Again, as I mentioned earlier, given the decision-making that Undersecretary Pat Kennedy was making with respect to Embassy Tripoli and Consulate Benghazi operations, he has to bear some responsibility.
What, in your view, were the shortcomings of the ARB process, besides not interviewing some people and allowing the classified report to be read?
Well, again, there was no stenographer in the room when we were interviewed.
No stenographer?
No, sir. And
so we're talking about editorial commentary potential as opposed to clear truth, accuracy?
that's correct. There were note takers. I had counsel in the room with me taking notes, but other witnesses did not have counsel or may not have had counsel.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I don't have that benefit on the campaign trail to not have accurate reporting. Thank you.